a little further. All right. So when it goes live, it'll pop up there. Let me find that lid for that basket because that's a hard surface. Oh. Hard surface lid. No, come here. You're gonna have to come over here, Linus. Regrouping. Hold on. Do you see the basket lid? What? You hit your head? Jesus, David.
Oh no, not another concussion. Oh, hi.
Exactly what we need. Whoops. Where is the lid? Come on. Did Bo bury it?
Probably.
This is what happens when multiple people are working out of my space. No, come on. It can't be far because that's not very solid. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hi guys, hang on. Oop, Christine. Hi Kim. Margaret Taylor, yay! All right, hold on guys. I had it yesterday. All right. Okay, Linus, you're fine. You're fine. Okay. I will stop wandering, I guess. Okay.
Come on over.
Fine.
I'm sure they're tired of looking at me.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I know. I'm sure they are.
Come on over a little bit further.
Okay. Well, hold on. Well, I can actually move this. Okay.
Get me the phone so I can do the question.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay. And how does it come up on here? I don't know. And almost, guys. Hang on. Locket's Meadow.
Yeah, there we are.
Okay. There's that.
So I'll watch for questions and read them.
Yes.
Because that's my job.
That's his job. He has a job. I gave him a job. Where's my seltzer water? That was your job, too.
I brought it in.
Well, okay. Hang on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I meant to jot down the questions that people had already asked. Of course, did I? It's okay. We'll wing it. Hi, Amber. Okay, everybody, do you see this really awesome sweater? This awesome long cardigan? Amber Durkin she's the LuLaRoe pusher up the street. She's a scary, literally. She's a scary woman, but the stuff is pretty.
Question. I'm not seeing anything come up on this.
It's not? Okay, hang on. It should. Don't argue with me, little. Okay, no, here. So let's hit the comments and turn that down.
Got it.
Oh, Kim, you want one of the? What are they? We are wearing a Sarah, and tomorrow at the I know, isn't it? Yeah, but Kelly, you could make your own. Tomorrow I shall be wearing a Shirley over my dress. So
hold on, time out. This always happens.
What?
So you got a text message from Amanda saying there's a guy here asking if we can take a rooster.
No.
How do I answer her?
Oh. Okay.
See, this is our life.
No. Hold on. Let's go over to answer the rooster question. We can't take roosters. We can't take roosters. I keep posting it. I post it like what, every other week?
Oh, she said I told him we can't.
Okay.
Well, we can't. Roosters require individual cages. We already have 2.
Oh my God, the heat! Just putting the heat lamps over the top of them in the winter. If you knew what our energy bills were, you would cry right alongside us. But we've got to keep them warm because they can't be in with anybody else because they'll fight with the boys and then they're jerks with the girls. Okay, that's enough. That's enough.
Do you have an alternative? Can you go to a bird sanctuary? Can you go?
No, there is no place to go. And it just kills me. Just kills me.
Yeah, I know.
Going live right now with Reincarnation. Okay. All right. And done. Every day, somebody tries to give us another rooster. We would have like 7,000 roosters right now. And I love roosters, but it's like, it's just not possible. It's not possible. I love them. It's not possible. Okay, now let's try this one more time. Get this to come up. Come on. Come on. Okay. All right, here we go. So it looks like I've got 13 people on. I only know 4 of you. If anybody, just pop, especially if you're not my friend, not that you're not my friend, but on my Facebook page, I need to know that you could actually ask questions. So just say anything. Just say, hi. Talk about if you cut a deal with Hero. No. And all right, wait. Here's what we're doing. The problem with the deals is this. We're old. Do you see this man? Do you see this?
No. What?
Do you see what I've done to him? He's only 35. Do you see?
Right. No, there you go. There it is. There you go.
I married a younger man. Oh, okay, great. Hi, good. There's people. Awesome. Yay. No, Amber, you know what I've done to this man. You live up the street.
Amber has helped.
Amber, you've done this to this man. No, but Kim, wait, let me explain. Here's how this is going to... All right, let me get right to it. Here's the basics of animal spirit, okay? We'll do that real quick, and then we'll get to the whole deal. And, let's see. Ha, Amber. I know. He's only 35. Okay. Yeah, he loves you. When I go to get dressed and I have nice things to wear, he doesn't have to watch me sob. Okay? All right. Here's the deal. Animal spirit. Everybody likes to divide spirit into all these different categories. There are no different categories. God is God is God. Love is love is love. Spirit is spirit is spirit. Every living thing on this planet has the exact same kind of spirit. Spirit is what gives us animation, what gives us life. We are all the same. So I tell people, anybody can be a medium. You just have to recognize the fact that we are all completely connected. As much as there are people we do not want to be connected to, and I give you a whole list of them, we have no choice, and this is where we're all screwed up. There are those who are like, people first, America first, this first, that first. There is nothing first. We are like, here's the deal. It's like water. Spirit is like water, and we're all the vessels, and we're just all filled up with spirit. That's it. You poke a hole in it, with like, a bullet, and it all pours out, and that's it. We're done. So it's all the same. So if I want to communicate with an animal or an angel or anything, it's nothing, because I have no walls. So all of these things are easy for me. I can hear it. Oh, Amber, he's not complaining. Yes, Kim, he's very handsome for a 35-year-old man, isn't he?
There's an old saying in the horse business.
Is it warm in here?
You ride them hard and put them away wet. This is what happens.
This is what happens. Can you just turn the heat down, please? I know I order them around. All right. So when we're talking about reincarnation, everybody can come back. Everybody can come back. We are supposed to come back. We all 60? How could it possibly be? There we go. It's off. There's a little propane stove in here. It would be so simple if we could be controlled by the churches or whatever who say, you've got one shot, get it right. It can't be that way. We don't have just one shot. If you think that spirit or God is not capable of absolutely everything, as long as it stays within the parameters of basically math and physics, and that's all That's what it is. All right, so animals, do they come back? Of course they come back. Our pets try to come back. If we don't get them back, and it's often because we've screwed up. If we want them back, they're coming. The easiest way to make it, yeah, that's true. That's true, Kelly. You asked for that one in your own little way. All right. So I will tell you stories to illustrate this. And this is where we have to be careful because, if we wish that we have an animal back, we actually have to pay attention. For example, I had a cat named Slick. I adored Slick. He was my sweet angel, and I'd have cramps. He'd curl up next to my belly and keep me warm. He was the most amazing cat. He was always sick. He lived to be 14 despite every urinary tract infection, everything that ever went wrong. So Slick dies, and I'm like missing him desperately, as I do everybody. A few months go by, and I have a dream, and the dream is there's Slick. And there's an outline of a cat just starting to come back. And then the cat fills in and it's Slick. And he comes over and I could feel him and touch him and he's just amazing. And I woke up and I knew he was coming back. So I'm like, okay. And I knew he was going to look the same. And I'm keeping my eyes open. I get a call from a woman who lives in downtown Milford who I worked with rescuing feral cats and, getting them spayed and neutered. And she says she's got a gray and white kitten looking for a home. She had just trapped it down the street. And I'm like, oh, gray and white. No, I'm looking for a black and white. So a few days later, I'm thinking, there's something about this gray and white kitten. I think maybe I need to call. So I call her back. The kitten had, this is like a 2-month-old kitten, had jumped out her upstairs bathroom window and went back to where he was from. I said, where's he from? Well, there's a little house right on the bridge, right over there in downtown Milford, like 4 houses away from her, and she's been trapping the cats there. I'm like, oh, because that's where Slick came from. That's where I had gotten Slick when he was a kitten. So stupid me. And she shows me a little picture. He's not gray and white. He was black and white. And I'm like, Jessica, how can you not know the difference between black and white and gray and white? Oh, I'll catch him again. It took her months to catch him. By the time I get him, he's a 5-month-old feral, untouchable cat. Looks exactly like Slick. We named him Mookie because he looked like, Moo, kitty. He looked like a cow, black and white. And 19 years, I think he lived.
Oh, God. He was old as dirt.
Never once was I allowed to pet him. He lived in the kitchen. He hung out by my feet. I couldn't even sneak up on him and touch him. I couldn't pet this cat who lived in my lap curled up next to me. And every single day I was reminded that I didn't listen to my intuition. I didn't just do it. And somebody gave me false information and I was counting on them to be correct. Well, that's wrong. We have to listen to ourselves. So he turned around and came right back. Now he's been gone a few years now and he hasn't come back yet. And I think he just doesn't trust me to know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm better. All right, so our problem now is that we've just had this huge rush of animals come back. We had stopped cutting deals because, oh, Pete's on, Karen's on, hi guys. We had stopped cutting deals because we're old. I know, he only looks 35, but he's really 61 and I'm 57. How many times can you keep telling animals to come back? Horses are a problem. Because they take so long to train. Are we going to be able to do all that? All right, I'm going to tell you the story of Julie Kitty. And Julie Kitty's story is going to answer a lot of your questions right off the top. Because this cat has been with me since I was 19 years old. In one form or another. And as I tell it, and you can ask questions, just pop in and ask. But Julie Kitty I got as a kitten. I was 19 years old and I was living someplace that had no cats. I had never lived without a cat from the time I was maybe 7. So I got a kitten. He was rotten. His name was Silly Kitty. He was miserable. From the time he was a kitten, he was horrible. That's right, Kim. I loved him with all my heart. He would torment dogs in the neighborhood. Eventually the dog across the street got him. And I was destroyed. And I was like, okay, you know, this was maybe, he was only maybe 5 years old. And I had gotten home from work and he didn't, in the evening, he didn't come running. And I was like, oh God, in the morning I found him. It was a few years later when he came back and I didn't know it was him. A white cat was at a customer's house. I was cleaning houses at the time. She said, you want her? And I'm like, if I bring another cat home, my husband's going to kill me. Not this one, the other one. And
clearly I don't have that.
You don't have that option, dear. All right. So I went there a few times. She's living locked in a basement. They can't let her come up. She doesn't get along with the other cat. Finally, I bring the cat home. My ex goes ballistic. Finds a home for the cat. I'm like clinging to this cat. He gives this cat away. The cat, I get a call. They want it because it's a white long-haired cat and they have a white shepherd. And they like the idea of matching animals. 2 weeks later, I get a call. You have to take the cat back. She's going crazy. We don't want her anymore. They bring the cat back. She's going crazy. You can't even touch her. She hurts all over. I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, I ended up bringing her to the vet. She had an ear infection. She lived for maybe another 6 years. We had moved someplace else. The guy next door backed over her, didn't tell me he'd run over her, I don't put any cats outside anymore, ever. Put her in his backyard and left her to die. I'm standing outside calling her. I finally hear her meow. I go to get her, and there she is with a squished back half. It was like a nightmare. No, I know, Kim. I know what you meant. So anyway, brushed her to the vet. They're like, we can't do anything. Okay. We have to have her put down. Now, had just started to get an inkling that this cat that basically attacked everybody was my silly kitty come back. But the thing that she always did, aside from try to kill people, was she would run up my leg and she would wrap her little arms around my neck and just hug me and take her nose and just rub back and forth on my chin. Somebody had asked, do they give us signs? Okay. Cat got dumped on the farm a few years later after we had moved. And the people who were living in the log cabin took her in and they were taking care of her. They named her Julie. And I didn't have that much to do with her. They moved and they left her behind, which was actually fine because she was supposed to be here. One day I was in the round pen all the way down the hill and I was lunging a horse and I look up and coming running through the fields is this cat. And she races past this horse who's running in circles. That cat just attacked my toe. Running in circles around me. And she climbs up my leg, wraps her little feet around my neck, and starts rubbing on my chin. And I was like, oh my God, it's her. She's back. Followed me back to our house. Took her a little bit to be comfortable with going in and out. Anyway, so here's where it gets interesting. Everybody's like, how do I know? How do I know? You cut the deal. You cut a deal. These animals will do whatever it takes to do what you ask, okay? So Julie Kitty, a few years back, gets cancer, and she's dying. And I have had this cat in my life for so long, and I'm like, Julie, can't do this one without you. Am I boring you?
No.
Can't do this one without you, Julie. You've got to come back. So I cut the deal. I'm like, look, if you can, because I don't get out, if you could be born on or near the farm, that would be great. You know, if you can kind of either look the same or let me know what you're going to look like. Just, you know, that kind of thing. And so I cut this very specific deal with her. I was hoping she'd be fluffy too. We're looking for the long hair because she's always, this will be her 4th time back. She's always had long hair. A friend of mine had rescued a feral cat. And she wasn't spayed yet. She got out of the house. This was right in Naugatuck. Took off. She called me up. Where is she? I'm like, hiding in somebody's shed. You'll find her. Just keep checking everybody's sheds. A week goes by and she finally locates one of the neighbors and gets into his shed. And there she is. She brings her home. She's pregnant. And I'm like, oh my God, I think I know how Julie's getting back. But how is she going to be born on the farm? Well, who knows how far these animals will go to end up where they want to be with the people they want to be with. I had a dream, and I saw Julie Kitty, and she was going to kind of have that Maine Coon cat thing happening with the long hair, but she was going to have an orange blotch right there and a big patch of orange, but all of these like kind of muted mottled colors, the grays, the blacks, And so I told my friend what she was going to look like, and she's like, well, she's not going to have long hair. The mother has short hair, and all the tomcats hanging around have short hair. Okay, well, whatever. If it's Julie Kitty, this is what she's going to look like. So weeks later, the cat goes into labor. The first baby's stuck. She has to rush her to the vet. First baby's lost. They do a C-section. They deliver all the rest of them. She calls me up. She goes, they're all out. And guess what? There's one fluffy one that has the orange splotches exactly where you said they would be. I'm like, Julie's back. Yes. I say that, but I know she's going to bite me because she's always like that. So anyway, she's like, want me to stop by on the way home? I'm like, on the way home? You're not in Naugatuck? I'm assuming she went to, a vet in Naugatuck. No. She's in Bethany, at Bethany Vet. Bethany Vet, and we share a property line. This cat found a way to be born just about on the farm. And when Julie, the original Julie, got dropped off, she was actually dumped at the Humane Society, which is now a dog training place, which was immediately next door. So she came, to the vets. So she basically came back. She came back from the exact same spot that we had gotten her the first time. This is how specific these animals are. I cut the deal. I said, let me know what you look like. And boom, she busted her butt to make sure she was born on the farm. And she's here, and she's still mean, and I love her with all my heart. So, okay. Anyway, that's how specific you can be. Do they still have to be alive to cut the deal? No. No. They can have crossed, and you can cut the deal. Kim. Oh, that's right. Yep. So, okay. Questions on what I've said so far, because if you don't think you can cut a deal, when I finish writing this book about animal reincarnation, the title is going to be The Real Art of the Deal, because it happens over and over and over again. How many of you out there have an animal and you're pretty sure you've already had that animal before? Come on, answer me. Am I talking to you? Hi baby. How many of you? I know there's a ton of you. Our animals, we travel in packs. We travel in packs. Two. Yes, Kim. We travel in packs all the time. We travel with our people. We keep coming back. I don't know. I think I've probably known him before. Let's see. Carole, is there any way to get one back without cutting a deal if they crossed over 10 years ago? Yeah. I mean, I didn't cut a deal with Silly Kitty, and he was back as Blanca. And I didn't necessarily cut a deal with Blanca, just was like, oh God, if there's any way you can come back. Now I am more specific. So Carole,
you have to be really careful about what you even think.
Oh gosh,
because there was one moment in time, well, I won't tell the story. They know what you're thinking. You don't have to say it out loud.
Yeah.
And if there's a crack in the door, they will drive a semi through it.
Oh, they really will. They really will. They will get back to you. We work together. Mine are all totally different, but I also never asked for any of them to come back. Well, okay, but you also, Margaret, you don't have as many as, say, I do. Like, mine are all, I swear, this life, they're all coming back from every life I've ever had an animal in. They're just all coming back. You probably need to reconnect with all of these animals somehow that you've been traveling with for all these years. So, can they come back as something else? Yeah, I got a dog right now who actually, I'm afraid she doesn't know she's a dog. She's still sure she's a pig. and she acts like one. And it is sometimes problematic because pigs have a level of stubbornness that dogs don't necessarily have. We're working through it. But she's a tough one. And I have a dog right now who was one of my horses. How do I know? I cut no deal. I cut no deal with this horse. And the reason I didn't is because I'm getting old. And I'm thinking, well, if she comes back, she comes back as a horse. We had such a lovely time together as a horse. I decided that we can't keep telling everybody to come back. Hot duck came back as something else for my, yeah.
Duck came back as Ragno.
Duck came back as Ragno. Ragno is back as Ragno Hemingway. And opened up this door, and everybody just started like rushing through because they're all nervous. They're all like, oh wow, she's not cutting deals. If we're coming back and she's not going to start with the baby horses again, we've got to come back. And so they all found their way through. Anyway, okay. So, okay, here's how specific you can be. My dog, okay, who out there does not know about my Ragno, who I lost, well, it's over a year now. Well, okay, oh, here was the other thing. Somebody asked, can your animal send you the one that you need? Oh, yes, they know what you need. Even if they aren't the ones coming back right away, they will send somebody. So my Ragno, hides the fact that he has cancer, dies of cancer. I'm destroyed. I'm destroyed. How do you live without your Ragno, right? He was almost 10 years, never left my side. So Ragno dies. I'm destroyed. I cut the deal with him. I'm like, Rags, you come back. I got you through the pound. You come back through the animal shelter, and you be the only male in the litter. And this is how I've learned. And you have something funky and different about you. Okay, that's what I said. And I left it there. Okay, well, a month later, all of my voices are going, a month and a half. Get online and type in German Shepherd Rescue, Connecticut. I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not getting another dog until my Ragno comes back, okay? And they're like, do it. 2 days go by. Finally, I do it. Okay. German Shepherd Rescue. I go to Rescue Me site comes up. I'm like, fine. I click on it. There's a little puppy that looks exactly like Ragno when he was a baby. And I'm like, but it can't be him. It's too soon. I know it's too soon. And it's not the pound. It's not all of these things that we had decided. But all the voices, fill out the application. Fine. Days go by. I fill out the application. I send it in. And then I think, okay, if they accept me as the adopter, I'm just going to say no. I'm not ready. It may look like Ragno, but I'm not ready. They send me something saying, oh, we Googled you. Of course, we would be honored if you would have this puppy. Now, just a few days before that, I had said to my husband, if my little Agnes ever came back, she would come back with an underbite again, and that's how I'm going to know it's her, okay? And they send me this little note, congratulations, you can have her, we're thrilled. And just so you know, she's got this little underbite. And I'm like, what are the chances? It's not even like it's like a Jack Russell or any, it's a shepherd mix, right? I burst into tears and I'm like, of course she has to come home. Holy crap. I made the rule. If Agnes comes back, she's coming back with the underbite. Did she know everything already when she got here?
Never even hesitated.
She didn't miss a beat.
Knew where everything was.
Everything. She knew where everything was. She
immediately potty trained.
Well, she was like housebroken right off the bat. Everything. Every single thing. She acts just like her.
Yeah. Except she's a miniature shepherd.
Right. So here she is, this, oh yeah, Ragno Hemingway. Okay, so I'm like, but if I get this puppy now, then what am I going to do when my Ragno comes back? Okay, 2 days after, well, Carole, you're gonna cut a deal. We'll talk about this. You're gonna cut a deal because you can get this dog back. Trust me, they all come back. They all come back. All you have to do is say please, and they do everything they can. But then when you cut the deal, you can't screw up or you end up with Mookie hanging around your feet. And the first time I ever got to pet that cat was when he had been put to sleep. And I sat there and I held him for like 3 hours because I was so destroyed that, it was the first chance I got to pet Mookie. My fault. Okay, so 2 days after I lost Ragno, yeah, really. 2 days after I lost Ragno, my friend Karen, who is the ACO down at the Woodbridge Animal Shelter, stops by and says, I know how you're feeling and you're probably not ready, but I want to gift you with a puppy from my next litter. She raises Aussies. And, hold on, I gotta press buttons here. So she raises Aussies, and I'm like, but I cut a deal. My dog, the deal is my dog has to come back through the animal shelter, and he has to be the only male in the litter, and he has to have something funky about him that's really different. And she goes, I run the animal shelter. I'll breed the dog at the animal shelter if that's what you want, just to make sure. And I'm like, well, I guess we could try. I'm sure I'll know him when I see him, right? So she breeds the mama at the animal shelter. A couple months go by, I get the call. She's in labor. She's having puppies. She has 4 puppies. There's only 1 male in the litter. She sends me a picture. I'm like, oh, there's a red tri. I'm sure the red tri is mine. I'm positive that's got to be him. It's not the male. The male is a blue merle. And I'm like, but, okay. And this is a whole other problem that I had that time. This was a real problem, this litter. This litter, like, just about did me in. It just about did you in.
Oh, no.
He had hair before this litter, and it was brown. All right. So, okay, the babies are born. I'm like, all right, let me go and see them. And she's like, just see. Because she had the idea, and all of her friends who are all psychics and mediums and everything were like, oh, Kathleens is that red tri. And I'm like, it can't be. The deal is he's the boy. I go down there the next day. Now, everybody knows me and my Ragno, and every single night we would sing this song. These are babies who are a day old. They cannot hear. They cannot see. I pick him up, and I'm holding him, and something tells me to sing our song. And I start singing the song that he would sit next to me on the piano bench every night. And it's just, good night, Wesley, good night, Wesley. This little teeny tiny puppy just tilts his head back and starts howling exactly the way that my Ragno Rufus used to howl with me. Karen was there. She's like, he did it the next day when I brought my daughter back. He sang right along with me. I'm like, oh my God, it's him. But there was a missing piece because there was something about him that was supposed to be really different. He had extra toes. Nobody else in the litter had extra toes. He had extra toes. It was my Ragno. The Hemingway name is a whole different part of the story, Ragno Hemingway. But there he was, and he is the sweetest, kindest, gentlest, most loving. He's obedient. He's so careful with me. If I'm walking him on ice and he feels me start to slip, he just freezes. I mean, anything that, anything wonderful that Ragno was, this Ragno is. Okay, but that doesn't end this reincarnation problem that I had with this particular litter, because every time I went there to visit that puppy, this little red tri was like all over me. And I'm like, I already have a puppy at home. I got, oh, wow. Woo, thank you so much, Linus. Litter box.
Oh, that was the litter box.
Oh my God.
But you can't, you can kind of see it. There's a wave.
Holy mackerel.
It's a cloud.
Okay. So anyway, and Karen is like, I don't know. This one I think is yours. I'm like, how can I deal with all of these puppies? I'm busy. I've got animals. So I had a dream. These dreams, pay attention to your dreams, people, because they're not kidding. And in the dream, I saw my little Ozzy Osbourne, my pig, my love of my life pig, whose ashes are sitting right there. Took 3 containers to hold his ashes. I see my Ozzy Osbourne sitting in a big guinea pig cage on my kitchen table as a baby. And I wake up and I remember that I keep saying that those puppies, that's particularly the red tri, looks like one of those red guinea pigs with the white ruff around the neck, and she's the size of a guinea pig, and she looks just like one. And I was like, oh, I think it's Ozzy. And anyway, so I called Karen, and I'm like, because I had said to her, there's something funky about this dog. First of all, it was clear to me that she was a genius. She's just a genius. Well, let me tell you, pigs are 10 times smarter than dogs. And that she has a funky little magic thing happening to her. You got to be careful if you have a magical animal who you place it with. That was it. And she's like, well, then she's yours. And all she wanted to do when she came home at 8 weeks was get into the pig pens. We had to line every single fence with rocks and logs and
chicken wire,
everything. Oh my God, thank God she's too big to squeeze in. And she would still get into the pig pens if she could. She's a genius. She's brilliant. She acts like a pig. And every single night before Ozzy went to sleep, I would rub his belly and sing him songs and tell him stories and put a blanket over him. Every single night, she sits there next to me and makes me rub her belly before she goes to bed. She's back for the belly rubs. That's what she's back for. Well, I did not cut a deal with Ozzy.
Plus, Ozzy's big ailment was his hips.
Yeah.
His back hips. She has hips like a middle guard for the New England Patriots.
She's amazing. She's amazing.
She can run like the wind, which is everything that he always wanted to do.
So anybody who ever read the book about Ozzy Osbourne, he gets into this big fight with Agnes because he's jealous. Well, a couple months back, Ursa was getting really jealous of the time that I spent with Agnes because Agnes gets to sleep in the bed. And we had a rough time because she decided it was time to kill Agnes. Went through a couple of weeks of keeping them separate, and then I had to talk her through it and tried all kinds of things, and we finally got them out the other side, and now they're very good friends again. But it was the exact same thing that happened at the exact same time, exact same ages. It was really horrifying. I'm like, I can't live with all of my animals separate. All right, I'm trying to think of what other questions were asked. Let's see. Okay,
Answer my question.
Your question.
Which was, do they know who they were?
Oh, yes. Do they know who they were? It actually depends on the animal. We don't remember very much from past lives, and that's because we have ego, and ego comes between us and spirit. That's just our job as humans. We have ego. Animals don't have ego. So ego comes between us and spirit, and it also comes between us and remembering our past lives. I'm having my toe attacked by this cat that just stunk up the whole cornhouse. They don't have that. Their chances of remembering things from past lives are a heck of a lot better. Yes, I know, good question. He went to Yale.
That had nothing to do with it. I'll tell you the story.
Okay. So anyway, so I can tell you that a pig comes back as a dog, she remembers everything. She remembers absolutely everything. Oh, we could get Jake back. Oh, Christine, this is easy. We could get Jake back. We'll cut the deal. We can cut a deal. Don't worry. I'll see you tomorrow. You're coming tomorrow, right? Anyway, sorry, where was I? This is what I brought you out here for.
You're answering the question about whether they know who they are.
Okay, right. So yes, animals remember not everything, but they remember a lot. I can tell you that cats are pretty good. They remember an awful lot of stuff. Yes, Ragno absolutely knows who he is. I would say I have Apollo Dumbledore. And he was a horse here. I cannot say that Apollo remembers everything from being a horse. It's interesting. It's like every situation is just a little bit different. But I can tell you a lot, animals remember a lot more. I don't want to remember anything from my past lives. I'm like, did it, done. I really don't care. I don't do the past life thing with me. I do past lives with other people. I can tell you everything you need to know, you know. But for me, no, I don't care. But animals remember what they need to remember. I guess that's the answer, is they remember what they need to remember.
We have 7 male goats, 7 billies. Mm-hmm. The largest kind of leader of the pack is Avery.
No, Conrad.
Conrad. Oh, sorry, Conrad.
Conrad. Avery's the one with the mini ears.
Right. So Conrad is tough on his brothers, but is really a gentle, sweet guy. And he always lets me, pet him and rub behind his ears, and he comes right over to me. And the other day, he was in his stall. I was filling the water bucket, and he's just looking at me. I said, "What?" He said, "It's me. Dad, it's me." I don't know who he is.
Well, I have to go out and have a conversation with him.
But he knew. He knew who he was.
Yeah.
He wasn't just Conrad.
No.
He was saying, "It's me. I'm here. I'm right here."
All right, questions. Who's on that has more questions right now? And you don't need me. I actually went to someone's house a couple weeks ago whose dog is dying of cancer, and I'm like, "You don't need me. You can do this." And she's like, "No, help me cut the deal." And it was good because, I was talking to the dog, and she was answering the questions that she was asking, and it made this woman feel so much better, and we know exactly how this is going to work. But you could do it yourself. Your animals know everything about you. There were questions about, when we have to put them down, do they know how much it hurts us? And, do they understand why we do these things? Yes, of course they understand. If they were living in the wild, as soon as they start to be a little frail, they're getting picked off by a coyote. They know how hard we work to keep them with us. They absolutely know. They work their butts off to make us understand that they know. I'm just trying to think of an example. Okay, Hero. I may cry, okay? Christine Festa, I have something for Grace. And if I forget to bring it with me tomorrow, slap me upside the head and then follow me home. But this is for Grace, and this is from Hero's Maine. Kim, you're supposed to speak louder. So Christine, don't let me forget, okay? I felt so bad that she couldn't be here to say goodbye. Okay. Hero was so content. Hero should have died when they had him in the kill pen. They were just going to ship him off, and he should have died then. We pulled him out of there. I've told the story. And he has been one of the most amazing horses ever on the whole planet. Anyway, he said he's ready to go. And I'm like, oh, good. Yeah, that horse was special. There's no question. And those two, they were very good for each other. Anyway, so I had the vet out, and I'm like, okay, I just need to decide when. So we decided Valentine's Day. It just fell that way. But he was so perfect. We walked him up to, his paddock, and he hung out with Sonora for a few hours. And then the vet got there, and he just stood there, and he's like, I'm ready. He didn't want the pain. And we needed to do it before something ruptured because the cancer was spreading so quickly. And he was just grateful. I, of course, was, lying on the ground next to him. And just as he was breathing, I was breathing in and out with him, just right up to his last breath. And anyway, and he was just saying thank you, because I don't want the pain. I don't want the pain. So they're fine with that. They understand that we are making calls based on what's best for them. They truly do. Completely unexpected, and we are devastated. Yeah, sure, cut the deal. Naomi, they don't. It doesn't matter if they're. All right. As a medium, I have never, ever, ever not been able to connect with any animal, any human, anything. I always hear there's rules about how soon you can contact a person on the other side. I don't buy it. We are all connected by spirit. The second I think of somebody, they're instantly there. The only people I have trouble communicating with are people who are like alive now, right?
Like me over breakfast.
Right?
It's true.
Anyway, but you are so close to these pets that you have had, who you have like loved and cherished and fawned over and sobbed hysterically over. Believe me, I spent, Valentine's Day night, because he was out of town, curled up in a ball sobbing until I fell asleep, woke up with a raging sinus headache. I mean, the second you think about them, they're instantly there with you. Whenever I think, if somebody says, okay, I want to talk to my grandfather, give me their name, boom, they're there. You don't question these things. Please don't question these things. We are so connected. Spirit is spirit is spirit. The same spirit that is in you is in your dog, your cat, your parrot, your husband. Even if you don't like him at the moment, it's there. Everybody's, I love you. I love you, baby. I do. Okay. Everybody's connected. So think about, don't even think about it, cat. You're not going out that door. Think about that animal, and that animal is there. How do you want, Naomi, how did you get Winston? How did you get Winston? Because, I mean, it's the easiest thing to do is to come up with a similar scenario. It works really well. I worked for Julie. You're not going out. Don't start with me. It's going to snow. You create the scenario, and that dog, do you know how specifically Ragno followed it? Adopted. Okay. If you want to adopt, all right. So, for example, okay, Ragno didn't turn out to be having, been born in the pound, but I wasn't that specific. Okay. You can say, come back the same way. You can say, please be a whatever kind of dog. You can say that, and you can give a time frame. You can even say, can you please be however old? I try to get dogs as puppies now, because being on the farm, it's not easy with the older dogs. They don't always come in and know what the heck to do with a horse. So, yeah.
I would caution, though, that you have to listen as soon as that thought pops into your head. Yeah. You got to act on it.
Yeah, pay attention.
Because if it's gone, you're done.
Yeah, no, pay attention. So, like, oh, you know what it's like? The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That's right. I love that example.
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in
Ghostbusters 1.
Because, was it
Ray?
Ray, what did you do? And he thought of something, because they weren't supposed to think of anything. He thought of something wonderful and friendly and happy from his youth, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Okay, so, but yes, be specific. I mean, I said Rags come back through the animal shelter. He didn't come back as a stray through the shelter, but he came back through my friend who runs the animal shelter. So, anyway, right? So, but that's... You're not going outside. I had a cat in here who was an outside cat. He got sick and he came in. He's not going out until March. You got a couple weeks. You're staying in. I don't like the litter box, but that's it. Don't hesitate if you come up with the idea as to how you want to do it, because sometimes it's them planting the idea in your head as to what they would like to see as their way of coming back. Okay? Yeah. Linus, Auntie Kim says hi, and you're not going out. All right. So yeah, it's so much, things are easier than you even want to imagine they are. They're so easy. They're so easy. It's crazy how simple it is. We want to think everything is really complicated because we see all these rules all spelled out. Oh, you're very welcome. Our religions give us all these lists of rules. Our government gives us lists of rules. I love rules. I love to follow rules. Do I break rules?
Never.
I love rules. I drive the speed limit. But I also know that spirit follows the rules. It's math, it's physics, it's science. All of these rules that are established, and music, okay? All of these rules are all the rules that spirit follows. Love is love is love. You are instantly connected by love. You love your animal, you think about that animal, you think about the love, and that animal is going to come back, okay? They're going to. They will do whatever they have to, and really, your job is to make it easier for them. And it doesn't matter how long they've been gone, okay? Anybody else with questions? Questions? I'm trying to think if there's so much, but you know, I'm working on this book about it because I have been told that I have to have it done by the end of I was told the end of February, and I said, you're kidding, right? Because I finished one I have in first draft form that I did in January. So it's like this little collection of little books about spirit. But the animal reincarnation one is really important because it will help people understand exactly how connected to animals we are. Animal lovers know how connected we are, but it's not just that we're connected to the animals. We're connected with each other. We're trapped. And there, you know, we joke about, you know, the rapture, you know, one of us will be like missing for a while and we're like, was it the rapture? No, there's no rapture unless we all go together, until we all figure this out together. And there is no people first. There is no animals, whatever. We have to do this together. People and animals all working together. We came here to work together. We won't get this right until we all get it right, is the thing. Do animals always come back as animals, or could they come back as people? Or can people come back as animals? Okay, ready? This is a weird one. And I've actually had to recently ask this question. As I do my readings and I see different things, I'm like, whoa, and then I have to ask questions. Animals usually come back as animals. We kind of chose, as we all come to Earth and this whole big experiment started, we chose, were we going to be the being with the ego, or were we going to be an animal? Animals are our support system. They are here to remind us of what it is like to be directly connected to spirit all the time. Our job here is to be creative and do amazing, beautiful things and stay connected to spirit while we do it. Animals never lose their connection to spirit. They look in their eyes. Be brave. Really look in their eyes. You look in an animal's eyes and you see God. The name of this next book is God's Eyes. It's Spirit's Eyes. Animals can come back as whatever animal they want. Do they transition well to being a human? In my experience, it's hard. They don't necessarily like to do it because they're unaccustomed to being disconnected from spirit.
It's a step down.
It is a step down. Coming back as a human is a step down because our ego separates us from spirit. Darn, this is just buffering now. Going to hop off. Okay. All right. So it's a step down for them because they have to spend a lifetime fighting to either get away from spirit or reconnect to spirit. Because as humans, it's like one or the other. We're either, off being bad and trying to separate, or we're desperately trying to be connected. I know somebody who was a horse. She was always a horse. So she was a horse going back, hundreds of years, she's just been a horse. Her last few lives as a horse was really dominated by one particular person who just beat the snot out of her, really oppressive to her. She comes back this time as a human because she needs to be able to protect herself from this one particular human that's been making her life as a horse miserable. Does she know how to be a human? No, she's completely lost. She's still lost. Who does she end up married to? She couldn't get away from him. She marries the guy, and he's actually pretty abusive of her. It's a horrible situation. But she can't break away from him. She doesn't know anything else. Will she come back as a human again? I doubt it. She's not, animals will watch us doing our thing and they're like, okay, maybe I'll be stronger. Maybe I'll be able to fight back. and then they come and they still have all the same problems that we have, and they're often less prepared because they haven't had to deal with the ego situation. Not only do they not understand it in themselves, they don't understand it in other people. So anyway, yes, they can come back as people. They don't like to choose to. Do we come back as animals? Hell yeah. Sometimes we need a break. I know I've come back as an animal. I've done it a bunch of times, because sometimes you just need a break and you don't want to have to fight so hard to be connected to spirit and to be connected to everybody else. They just understand it because there is no separation. So anyway, yes, it's totally doable. And would you have to claw my rug? You're not going out.
Linus.
Seriously. Ooh, somebody's pissy. Anyway, so that's, yeah, there's more to it than that. But yeah, it is harder. It's harder for an animal to come back as a human and have to deal with the kind of stuff that we deal with as humans. It's hard. Being a human is like the worst job. Think about this. If humans disappeared from the planet tomorrow, the planet would heave a sigh of relief and say, "Oh, thank goodness they're gone." And then all of the animals would re-find their space. The balance would return, I mean, unless a meteor hit the planet. The balance of animals would return. There would be enough wolves to keep the population of deer and elk down. There would be enough deer and elk to keep the grasses and, all the flora where it needs to be. The earth would immediately re-find its equilibrium, and all would become paradise again. We're the problem. The animals are the higher beings. As far as the planet's concerned, they're the ones who know what the heck they're doing. We're here making a mess of it. Yeah, it's sadly true. So, and we're supposed to be being brilliantly creative and making this most amazing, beautiful planet. We're the problem. The animals are actually... Okay, I'm just going to do one more thing, and then I will let everybody who's still there go. When years ago, I'll tell the story of the Y. The letter Y is hugely symbolic and incredibly important, and I didn't know what it was. I just knew it was because they kept throwing Y's at me. Y, and I'd be going, why? Why rainbow in the sky? Why cloud? Why this? Everything in the shape of a Y being thrown at me. And one morning, I think it was I finally got the answer. The answer is this. We all come to Earth, and we are all of the same spirit, and it's like this laser beam of spirit coming to Earth to settle in. Those who have chosen to be the being with the ego, or the humans, we all have chosen on our way down. Everybody who's decided they want to be animals because they cannot bear to be separate from spirit, they know what they're going to be. It takes seconds cosmically for us to evolve to what we are now. I mean, it seems like a lot to us now, but it's like a finger snap, and we're here as humans. So, but as we're coming, part of us decides that we were a little nervous about being on our own, separate from spirit. And a part of us, that spirit, forks off. Those are our angels. Our angels are us. They are us, and we know they're looking out for us because they're the spirit part of us that decided to hang in the ether and watch over us, okay? So we all shoot down here, and we're doing our thing. We have our spiritual counterpart, which is the other branch of the Y, okay? Wait, here's a Y. Okay, so here's us, here's our angels, or vice versa. What's the stem of the Y? Anybody? Who's always connected?
Teacher.
Yeah. I only realized this recently because I'm a little slow and I'm just so busy. And I would be like, gee, I wonder who's at the base of the Y. Who's at the base of the Y? Animals are the base of the Y. They're never unconnected from spirit. So those who are really spiritual and very connected, Gandhi would be hanging out near the bottom of the Y. Our job is to draw the Y closer together. Well, Christine, you're right, spirit, because animals are spirit. and they're always completely connected to spirit. But this little ball of energy that comes to Earth to do this job here is a combination of spirit and us, and the spiritual part of us trying to help us deal with ego, and the base of the Y. This is a piece of coral. Is this the coolest darn thing? And the base of the Y is the animals. We're supposed to look to our animals, right? It is the same thing. We're supposed to look to our animals to remember what it's like to be connected to spirit. It is the most, and we've forgotten. The things that people do to animals are terrifying and horrific because we don't remember that they are examples of what it is to be completely connected to spirit. There are examples. You look into a horse's eyes, and if you don't see spirit there's something seriously wrong with you. Same thing with dogs, cats. I dare you to look into the eyes of a cow. They are some of the most spiritual animals I have ever met. Well, I mean, Benny Coconut's, don't start with me, cat. Benny Coconut's down to one eye. You look in that eye and you just melt. So, okay. All right. I think that's got it. I think I've answered all the questions that were posted. If anybody has anything else, it looks like a bunch of you got like cut off and came back. Oh, stop. Do you want to be on? Come on, little man. Do you want to see this little man? This little man who makes me crazy? Ready? Everybody? Linus, everybody. Behind Linus are, hi, Angel, 3 black bags filled with Ozzy Osbourne's ashes. Okay. All right. Let me give it 30 seconds because it takes so long for the questions to actually pop up. And see if anybody has anything else. If not, you can always just post it, and I will try to answer there. And really, and tomorrow, anybody who comes to the, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Because, I'll talk about this all day until everybody's like bored to tears. Tomorrow is the psychic fair in Bethany. It's going to stop snowing at dawn. They have plenty of time to clean up the snow, and we will all be there. And there's a whole bunch of really good psychics and mediums there. I will be there, and it should be a lot of fun. Food. Duck soup chili. It's on the stove right now. Okay. All right. Mwah. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining me. And any questions, just keep posting them. Talk to you soon.